Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So Florida, it's been no secret for a while that it's been zooming to the right. And you look at 2016 when Donald Trump won the state, he won the state, but Democrats had 327,438 registered voters on the Republicans. And Trump won the state by roughly 1%. He didn't even need Florida to win. But again, Florida used to be like that bellwether state where if you're a Republican and you can't win Florida, you're probably losing the election. Same thing with Ohio. However, the tides have indeed turned since then, and Florida is no longer a swing state. 2020, Florida was a 3 to 4 point win for Trump, even though a lot of experts had it going blue, and the Democrat advantage was cut from 327K to 134K. And definitely COVID competency within the Florida Republicans compared to gross incompetency among the Florida Democrats. You saw an influx of new voters. You saw Democrats just unable to find voters, communicate well with voters. And in 2022, Ron DeSantis and Marco Rubio both won their races by nearly 20 points, more than by a lot of people anticipated them to win by. And the Republicans had 306,000 voters. So already a turnaround of roughly 600-some thousand voters over the Democrats. And then from 2022 to 2024, Republicans added even more net voters than they added from 2016 to 2022. Some of that was just, Democrats falling off the voter rolls, Republicans continuing to gain in registrations. And between 2020 and 2024, the Democrats had a net loss and Republicans had a net gain of 1.3 million voters. And Donald Trump, as a result, went out there and he won the state by 13, 14 percentage points, which it was just monumental to see at the presidential level. Now, that's an upgrade of about a 10-point shift from the previous time. Now, is this stopping? Is this slowing down? The answer is definitely not, because now, just from the book closing in 2024 until now, Republicans have added another 300,000 voters. And just last month, you saw 10,402 Democrats drop off the voter rolls. Republicans gained 1,000. Independents lost 5,000. So Republicans in their advantage, it is huge. It is massive. And this could mean a lot moving forward. And now you have new updates from Florida. They may be trying to do what Texas is trying to do. Is it ethical regarding the mid-decade redistricting? We're going to cover that, but first, really quickly, got to let you guys know about our great friends over at Chalk. Our country just witnessed Donald Trump overcome political persecution, an assassination attempt, and the entire deep state to retake the presidency with a historic victory. And one secret ingredient allowed him to do it, and it's called testosterone. And what most people don't realize is that testosterone makes men willing and eager to take on challenges. Sadly, too many men have lost their fight, and that's exactly how the globalists want it. They want us weak, out of shape, and full of estrogen and microplastics with low T, which is why we're excited to partner with Chalk. They offer a whole line of products formulated to increase your energy, focus, detoxify your body, and clinically studied boost testosterone. Ingredients in the Chalk Male Vitality Stack have been clinically studied to boost free testosterone in 87% in just 21 days. Unlike with gimmicky vegetable pills or powder, you will feel the difference, and they have the clinical studies to back it up. And right now you can get 25% off your Chalk subscription, not just one time, but for life. So go to chalk.com, spelled CHOQ.com, and use the promo code REDEAGLE. That's 25% off any subscription for life, and you can cancel it at any time. So no signs of slowing down in Florida. It's like just as you think Republicans have peaked, they find a way to keep adding voters. And if you look at the 2024 election total, Donald Trump won the state by 1.5 million votes. Now, he won the state by roughly around, a few 100,000 in 2020. That was more than a lot of people anticipated he would win the state by. But still, this is on a different level. He won Miami-Dade County by over 100,000 votes. That county voted for Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump. in 2016 by 30 points. So you're seeing the shifts in the big population centers, doing better in Tampa, doing better all over, just finding more voters, making the blue circles, which again, this is by population, not percentage. Some of these small counties, Trump got 83% of the vote, but nobody really lives there compared to Miami. Miami's circle is going to be huge because that's where you have a lot of voters, and these like exurban areas, more retirement areas, wherever, it doesn't matter. The shift is massive. The shift to the right is huge. Some of these counties, Osceola County, Puerto Rican voters. Remember before the election, a comedian told a joke about Puerto Rico. They thought that would doom Trump in Florida and Pennsylvania. And, just like he did well in Miami-Dade, he's doing better in Philadelphia. That's a whole nother issue for the Democrats in Pennsylvania. But among certain groups that are moving Republican, Democrats are just floundering with, and even though they think their messaging is going to work, it's really not. A lot of Puerto Ricans understand that Puerto Rico is not off limits for comedy, and Trump won Osceola County, which voted for the Democrats by, close to 20 points these previous two cycles, and he made the county shift by 15 points in just one cycle. So you're seeing that it's not just Miami, it's all over. But what he's able to do and what he's been doing is he's making the red areas redder, and he's making the blue areas less blue. Some of them flipped Republican. Trump flipped plenty of counties. I believe he flipped like Seminole County. He flipped Duval County. He flipped Osceola County. He flipped Miami-Dade. There's so many counties that he was able to flip. I can't even name them all off the top of my head. But Florida is a red state. This used to be a swing state. Texas, they said, was going blue. Florida, they said, was going to be going blue, after 2016. Arizona, they said Republicans would never win Nevada again. Well, they won that. And Georgia, that one's a little bit of a different story, but I think that it may be a little bit more salvageable for the Republicans as we initially thought it would be. And North Carolina is also turning a corner in the registrations. On top of that, Pennsylvania, every update gets better for the Republicans for the most part, and they're still doing very well across the board. So if there's this massive blue wave, we're not seeing it anywhere. We're not seeing massive Democrat registrations. They're not enthused. They may do well because they're the party of the super voter. Republicans are the party of the low propensity voter. So again, if Democrats have a great 2026, means literally nothing for 2028 anyways. But I don't believe they will. And part of it is that mid-decade redistricting in Florida may redraw. You see all these states like California, which is already as gerrymandered as you can get in favor of the Democrats, despite their bogus, quote-unquote, independent commission that was handpicked by Gavin Newsom. They want to redraw. They may be able to draw out, 5 Republicans at most there anyways. So Florida could just combat that and draw out 5 Democrats, which makes sense. And you're seeing this here. Florida possibly could draw the map. And it would be a better looking map too, because the state has zoomed to the right since the last map was created. And this is a deep red state. And for people that want to say this is like gerrymandering of the worst possible kind, we're losing our principle, whatever. Here's the deal. In New York, Democrats hold 73% of House seats, only winning 56% of the vote. In Illinois, they hold 82%. That map is ridiculous. Only won 55% of the vote. In California, Democrats won 58%, but hold 83% of seats. This map would basically just have Republicans holding less seats in Florida than Democrats hold in California. And the new Texas map is, again, fairer by every metric compared to New York and Illinois. And that doesn't even take into account the fact that Republicans just have better geography than the Democrats overall. When you're trying to draw a map, your main focus should be keeping communities together. Doesn't necessarily mean race, but should mean region. And that we know. And Democrats want there to be districts, and even some so-called conservatives on the Supreme Court have wanted there to be these DEI districts where you have to draw a black majority district in Alabama that's extra, or Louisiana, even though it looks awful on the map, but that's what they've mandated. However, they may be rehearing that because you have the antiquated provisions of the Voter Rights Act from the 1960s that mandated those affirmative action DEI districts. And again, they only go one way. There's plenty of places now in America where white people are a minority, like New Mexico, but that didn't stop the Democrats from drawing a 3-0 map that would take a very good year and a very good candidate for Republicans to really even have a shot in, although it was kind of a dummy mander because Trump did win that district, and it possibly could even flip depending on how things go next fall. But still, the Supreme Court is now considering outlawing those districts. So if Democrats want to retaliate, they don't really have much room. They don't have much room to talk. We could talk about Maryland, Massachusetts. You think you want to redraw in Massachusetts or Connecticut. The senator from Connecticut was like, we'll redraw. And it's like every district on your map is Democrat. Republicans could easily have one, if not two. They decide to not do that. We wonder why. You'd have one Republican district, one competitive district that could go Republican. It would take a very good year for Republicans to even have a fighting chance at one district in Connecticut. You have Oregon, you have Rhode Island where they split Providence down the middle, which again, if they actually had principles, they wouldn't do that because they want to prevent a more competitive seat. New Mexico, Nevada, which again, I don't think is going to age very well, but they did it to benefit them in the short term, even though they could have done a 2-2 map that would have probably been more likely to hold up by the end of the decade. It's another state where the voter registrations are not looking good for the Dems. But it's like, yeah, as long as you're going to have Democrats that are going to be in California and New York doing this, Republicans have every right to do it in Florida. They have every right to do it in Texas. There's really no excuse for it, especially because California masquerades theirs as an independent commission. Democrats got 2% more of the vote in California than Republicans got in Texas. But get this, you're talking about the seats in total. And Democrats arguably have worse geography, especially now in California. They hold 83% of the seats. In the new Texas map, Republicans only hold 79%. So Republicans aren't even fighting back as hard as the Democrats, but Democrats still want to retaliate. And if they do, you're talking about this Supreme Court, if they rule correctly and constitutionally here, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, they're all going to lose Democrat districts there, especially if California retaliates. Then you could also have plenty of other states that are going to be doing it too. Like, you look at a state like Kentucky, a state like Missouri, where they very well could just split those cities. As the Democrats are doing, and Republicans have every right to fight back, especially because we have to stand for something. Our ideas are better than their ideas. Obviously, we live in a country that's a republic and representative, and people get to vote and decide, but Democrats aren't playing by those rules, and they're calling us the threats to democracy. I say they're the threat to our republic because it's true. Now, you have states with fair maps, and that is true. I think Michigan's fair. Democrats complain about Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. They're more than fair. Democrats just have bad geography in Wisconsin. I think Arizona's map is relatively fair. And it would possibly be ideal if we didn't have to, engage in this war of map drawing, but Democrats have most certainly drawn first blood on this, and we have to protect our trifecta, make sure our progress isn't going to be unwound. So yeah, honestly, I say go for it, Florida, go for it, Texas. It's still going to be fairer than the average Democrat map in a big state. So why not? Just give them a little bit of a taste of their own medicine, but they like to play victim and cry about it. But it is what it is, guys. So anyways, make sure you guys like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle out.